Anukool, Vasudevan, the journey begins. The journey begins. Anukool, Vasudevan.
I've been worried my entire life. I'm worried about my family. I'm worried about my friends. I'm worried about work. I'm worried that this speech will be exactly 7 minutes and 30 seconds long. To all of you out here, raise your hands if you've been worried about something at some point in time or even all the time. All right, take a look around. We're all in this together. Several years ago, I was worried about a flight. Imagine this. Kids running around, screaming, having the time of their life, and in the background, parents, tired, angry, just ready to go to their destination. That was my view sitting at the airport terminal as I was waiting anxiously for my flight, which had gotten canceled and then delayed several times. But finally, the intercom came on, and it was time for me to board. As I made my way onto the plane, I took my aisle seat and looked over. And the one singular question that came up, I guarantee my fellow travelers, Captain, you've all asked at one point in time, who is going to take those seats next to me? Is it going to be one of those crying, screaming kids? Or is it going to be one of those angry adults? I waited anxiously as people came on board. Then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something. Hi, my name's Julia. I'm 3 years old. What's your name? She said excitedly as she took the seat next to me. And her mom took the window seat next to her. I realized immediately that Julia was not like the other kids that were out in the terminal. She was inquisitive. She took out the safety card from behind the seat back and started pointing to all the pictures. Well, what does this do? Well, what does that mean? What's that? And I calmly explained to her that it was all for our safety and that this is going to be a great flight. We finally got into the air, and the questions continued. She asked me all sorts of things. She wanted to know about my work. She wanted to know about my hobbies. And as all these questions came along, I felt all my worries fade away. That was until she asked two quite peculiar questions. Would you like to hold poodles? Excuse me, what in the world is a poodles? And she reaches into her backpack and pulls out this tiny stuffed dog, her prized possession, and hands it over to me. She immediately looks over to her mother after. Hey, my mom's getting out some snacks for me. Would you like some? Fellow travelers, I don't know about you, but there have been no 3-year-olds in my life that has ever wanted to share their snacks with me. I was honored. As the flight went on, we shared more laughs, we shared more smiles, and as we were about to land, I felt something on my arm. And as I looked down, it was her head, gently resting on my arm. And I looked over to her mother to make sure it was okay. And she gave me the nod of approval and said, wow, Julia must be really comfortable with you. I think it's because you remind her of her dad. Her dad's also Indian, just like you. We finally landed. We gave each other a hug goodbye, and we made our way out. And as I was walking out, I could start to feel the worries creep right back up. And for days, weeks, months, even years, I'm still worried. I'm still worried about my family. I'm still worried about my friends. I'm still worried about work. And I'm still worried about that flight, but for a completely different reason. I'm worried about Julia. I'm worried about what her future is going to look like. Is her future going to look like our today? Is it going to be filled with divide, with violence, with war, with racism, with a dying planet? Is that what all of you want for a future for Julia and the kids in your lives? No, I don't either. So the big question now is, how do we fix it? Luckily for all of you, Julia has already given us the answer. First is curiosity. Julia wasted no time in asking me questions and getting to know me. Kids are amazing at that. What if we as adults did the same thing? Maybe we'll learn something new and grow trust. Second is sharing. She shared her prized possession with me and her snacks. And believe me, if I had snacks, I'd share them with all of you too. But we all have resources like time, money, and other things that we could share with other people who don't have them. We could lift each other up. And lastly is community and belonging. She built trust with me with all the questions that she asked. She figured out all the things that we have in common. When we look at other people, we judge so quickly by the clothes that we wear, by the color of our skin, the sound of our voice. But what if we look past that for a second? What if we found those things that we had in common? You'd be surprised at how quickly we could build a community. To my fellow travelers, the journey begins here. It begins now. My challenge for all of you is simple. Be curious, share, and build a community with somebody you don't know. And maybe, just maybe, we can build a future that we don't have to be worried about for Julia or the other kids in our lives. Contest Master.